All right, the single most polarizing family in basketball really is back in the news with LaMelo Ball, really making his "I'm coming back to high school" announcement, which you don't see often, but with a family that just takes over the basketball world whenever anything happens, Melo going back to high school basketball is actually very big news.
Yeah, I mean, him and his brother played in Lithuania last season, and although they did put up ridiculous numbers, they really weren't playing in too much of a difficult league, I guess. So I
Yeah,
feel like him going back to high school and like going up against these top prospects, like we'll see how he plays going up against them, and I feel like that'll really make people start to wonder, oh, maybe he can actually have a career in basketball.
yeah, he's going to Spire Academy in Ohio. I'm not sure where it is in Ohio. I want to say Cleveland, but I could be wrong. It kind of came out of nowhere. Like the Ball family really isn't having as hot as the years they did last year, which I'm upset about because, like I mentioned last episode, I'm a huge LeVar Ball guy. Always have been, always will be. And the fact that they're back, it just gets me so excited because it's just A, more to talk about. B, I'm obsessed with this family. Like I watched that reality show they had
Facebook
forever
Live.
ago. Yeah, it was like obsessed with it. And then it's just like I want to see LaMelo Ball do well because like he is easily the most entertaining young basketball player in the league that's not in the NBA or college. Maybe him, maybe Cole Anthony, but even then, the news came out that Melo is going to be facing Cole Anthony at Oak Hill in December. So Anthony wasn't really even in the news before LaMelo Ball came in. So no matter where LaMelo goes, media follows, attention follows, popularity increases. So a high school announcement is pretty big news.
Yeah, and like since he's so young, and I feel like he has the potential of being the better of the Ball brothers. Like LiAngelo Ball is going to he's putting in a claim to go into the G League, to get a contract there and try to make it into the NBA that way. But with LaMelo, like he's getting taller, like he can dunk now, like he's a scorer, like an absolute scorer. And I feel like going up against these top guys, like if he plays well, gets a college offer, like he has the potential to be very good. I think. Like I don't follow along with the Ball family as much as you do, or anything like that. No, I don't think anyone does. But I am interested to see how that works out because LaMelo Ball, like I always see the highlight tapes of him, and he seems like he can be a pretty good ball player. So I'm very, very curious to see how this turns out for him. But I mean, he's a Ball member, he's a Ball family member, so it's always going to be news.
He's also teaming up with someone I would see on Twitter, but I didn't think he was actually anybody. Like I did, like he could be a bust. Who knows? He just has a weird build, and like these guys with really tall builds, they have the heart problems and the growing problems and everything. 7'7", junior in high school, Robert Bobrovsky. I don't know.
Never heard
exactly where he's from. Like he was, kind of like. This is a weird example, but Cardi B was like famous for being a Twitter personality before she was a rapper. This kid, in a way, is more like, oh, look, this freak tall person. Oh, he is like actually a basketball person. It's kind of a stretch, but that's how I first thought of it. I'm like, oh, like I remember seeing this kid forever ago. So to see if they can do anything with this, like I watched a couple of his mixtapes. The dude just so tall. Like he runs awkwardly. He shoots the ball awkwardly. He's like a skinny Boban. I'm not sure exactly if he's an NBA type player, but he'll absolutely dominate high school basketball.
Yeah, it's like being 7'7", like you don't even have to jump to dunk the ball at that point.
Just put your arms
up, dunk it. I don't know how those players like Bull is kind of
7'6",
like
I think
7'6", and he's doing pretty well in college. I think like he has a jump shot. Like I've seen some good tapes of him, but like guys like that, it scares me seeing guys so skinny like that because if they take one hard fall, like like your knees and shit like that, like that would be, just imagine that happening like a series.
ACLs are a foot and a half.
That's so scary seeing that stuff happen. So like I've never heard of this kid before. Like I saw the first thing I saw of him was when LaMelo committed, and they said this is his new teammate, 7'7". That's ridiculous. In high school, he'll kill it. I don't know what he'll do after high school if he's even that good. But
yeah, who knows? Even like you mentioned earlier, they were playing in Lithuania, but everyone's like he's playing against men in Lithuania, like he's playing against better competition overseas, which is true in a way. But he wasn't even the youngest person in the league by like a long stretch. He was, how old is he? 17?
I think he was 16 or 17. I think he
Yeah,
was 16 when he went, but I think he's
yeah. So
17
his
now.
first like pool of games, they don't have a season; they just play in pools. He was older than the majority of everyone on that team. The teams he was facing, like he was facing like 15 and like some 16-year-olds. So I was making a huge deal. I'm like, this is just like a travel like AAU team, like
Yeah,
just playing.
exactly. Like it's
But
not like he was playing in like a Spanish league or a China
like
league or
yeah,
anything
like
like
the
that. Like
Madrid
where
leagues and
people
stuff.
actually like know some of these guys. Like no one knows anyone in Lithuania. So
No,
it's like they were playing up, not to be mean, but it's like they were playing up against nobodies. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So and it's like him and his brother were literally just doing everything for that team,
and then
like dropping
they
60, 70
experimented.
points, like ridiculous.
Yeah, and then they experimented in the JBA, which is a league kind of crafted to showcase the Ball family.
Yeah.
Leangelo's not going anywhere. Like he's done. Ever since that China incident, like his stock just punted. Like he's nothing. So he's kind of, I don't know exactly what he's gonna do. He'll probably be like big baller brand representative or something like that, but he's not gonna make the league. Melo does have a good shot. He can't go to college still because he withdrew and like just a bunch of weird stuff happened, but he's going to go to the new G League rule. So clearly, like LeVar Ball is always 3 steps ahead. Sure, he's not like in the news as much, but it is the most unorthodox way to make the NBA. Why not just finish high school, go to college for a year, and go to the NBA like everybody else? But Melo Ball comes with that story and all the different basketball experiences. And it definitely helps that Lonzo was picked with the second pick. So the Ball family, I'd say Lonzo's a success so far. But
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if Ball is your last name, like they'll find a way to stay relevant. Like you said, LeVar Ball's 3 steps ahead. They'll find a way to get LaMelo. Or they're going to try to get LiAngelo now, but they're going to at least try to get LaMelo a shot in the NBA. Because, like I said, I think he has potential to be the better one out of all three. He just needs to. You mentioned how he can't go to college for those weird rules, so it'll be kind of tricky how they get around with the new G League thing now. You can go to the G League, get a contract there instead of going to college if that's something that happens. I don't know when that'll take effect. I don't know if that'll happen next year or the year after or something like that. But I'm sure they'll take advantage of that and go from there, I guess.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we are back with our 4th episode at Benchwarmers Radio. No, that's not their Twitter. At BWarmer Radio. Benchwarmers Radio, episode
We
4.
are the Benchwarmers Radio.
Correct. That's what I was going for. And yeah, episode 4, doing that for a month now. NBA season is about what, an eighth of the way through, or all
Yeah,
teams
we're
10
almost a
games in.
month in, so we've had a lot of stuff to talk about, and we actually have a lot to talk about this episode too. A lot of recent stuff that's happened.
Yeah, we'll kick off with our team, the Celtics. 6-4, kind of not a great start. They did have like that tweet I saw today, like they have the hardest schedule as of 10 games, which I guess like marketing wise, that's what you want. You want the season to start off well and everything. But we have what, like 8 road games in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Like people are, I like on Dante on Deck on my Twitter account. I've had people tweet at me like how Gordon Hayward sucks. He's not where he's
Yeah.
supposed to be. All these guys, like no one's playing well. It's like, okay, we've played 10 games. Gordon Hayward obviously is not back to where he's supposed to be yet, which is expected. They're 6-4
His
now.
ankle was off of his body this time.
Yeah, it's like I understand, like, oh, we had all year to rehab, get better. I understand that.
Yeah, rehab,
But,
not
like,
basketball.
mentally, like, you could tell on defense, like guys that go up against him, like guys go at him because he's not like not that he's not fully confident, but like he's hesitant to make some moves. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like it's all a mental thing, not just like he might be physically 100% healthy, but mentally that's a huge part in it too. My prediction was that they were going to go 7-3 in the first 10 games, so they went 6-4. Every loss that we've had, except for Toronto, has been by single digits.
Mhm.
We lost the Magic, which was a shitty game to lose. Toronto, like I mentioned,
That was before they could shoot when they were facing.
that was before they
Magic.
couldn't hit a 3 that game. The Pacers, they lost on a game winner. Kyrie missed a layup, and then they came up on the other end, hit a 3 to win the game, and then Jamal Murray dropped 48.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm not justifying these losses. Like there's obviously a lot of things this team, like it's 10 games in, like there's some things. The offense just looks lost. Like against the Nuggets, we were up 20 in the first, and then we just collapsed throughout the game.
You could set your watch or clock or anything to the Celtics blowing a lead.
Yeah,
like, no lead is ever safe.
I'm pretty sure every game that we've played this year and we've had a double-digit lead, we've blown that lead. Like, there have been no games where we've been comfortably like in the lead and held that lead. Like, that's just what they always do. But the defense,
it's not even this year; it's just every single year.
Yeah, every year they're always like that.
Like, what are you doing?
I know, but the defense, they have one of the better defensive ratings in the NBA. I think they're one of the best defenses in the NBA. It's just we gave up the 48 to Jamal Murray, like blah blah blah. But their defense is there. The offense needs to catch up to their defense. And I said this while we were playing the Nuggets when we were up 20. Like, that's how our offense is supposed to look, and our defense was holding up. Yeah. But then we gave up that lead. It's like that's what we should expect to see from this team. Like, not now, but as the year goes on. Right now, everyone's just still finding their role and everything like that. And one thing that came out today, actually, Terry Rozier is not happy with his role on the team. He's not getting as much playing time as he would want. And word going around the league is that the Celtics might be trying to trade him, or at least teams are reaching out to them as far as getting a trade done. And Terry Rozier, like, we saw what he did in the playoffs. He's a capable starting point guard in the NBA. Like, he can start on a handful of teams. Mm-hmm. So I understand this is just rumors at this point. Like, this isn't like no one said anything from his camp or from the Celtics. This is just speculation, but I understand him wanting more minutes. Like he's a starting caliber point guard, but he's playing behind Kyrie, and it's his contract year, so he wants to play enough minutes to put up all these stats so he can get a big contract in the offseason. So two teams that came out, the Suns and the Cavaliers, were the top two teams that they mentioned that were interested in him, and then they said there were 7 teams in total. I wrote about this on Dante on Deck. I put out an article for WTP Sports as well. A couple teams that I feel like could also make a move for him if they wanted to are the Orlando Magic, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the San Antonio Spurs. And I say that because those are teams that maybe they don't need a point guard necessarily, but they like a young guy that they can get and just add to their core, like the Pelicans, for example, like bring him in to New Orleans. And they have Elfrid Payton. He's doing just fine in New Orleans. But bringing in Terry Rozier, maybe that helps keep Anthony Davis around. Like, that's just a hypothetical thing. But what do you think? Like with everything with Terry Rozier?
The whole thing, I think, is just it's like it's not a season until the Celtics are in trade rumors.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have the Jimmy Butler ones, the Paul George ones, the trade Rondo every single year he was on our team ones. It's just, I think it's just gonna be swept into the rug.
It's all speculation, of course. Like we mentioned, it's just rumors.
I probably mentioned this before. I just don't know if it's on air or not, but I wouldn't trade Terry Rozier for anybody other than Anthony Davis. And even then, it's like, well, Davis resigned. Rozier is very important to this team right now. Like, having a starting point guard coming off the bench is very rare in this league. It's something that I think most people are taking for granted. Maybe that's why Rozier is upset, because he does believe he's better than he actually is out to be right now, I guess. But him and Marcus Morris are two people that probably not going to come back next year simply because of money reasons. However, like you're in a win now mentality. Like, this is the year that we're not supposed to win it because the Warriors are still the team. But we're supposed to represent the East in the finals. And if you want to have your best shot against the Warriors, you got to keep the good players around. You can't be thinking about the future for so long. Like, I'm not sure what the haul would be for Terry Rozier. Maybe it would be picks that we can turn into Anthony Davis. Like, just, I wouldn't touch anyone other than Davis. Off of his, like, unhappy playing with minutes, like that time, I understand that because, yeah, like you said, it's a contract year. You want to show teams that you're worth your money. But I just don't think this is as big as of a deal as Boston media. Boston media is also the most negative media in the entire country.
They are.
Like, the Northeast, especially like New England, it's like everyone's lives revolves around sports. Like, West Coast sports are like the fifth thing that someone's thinking about what they're going to do if they ever visit. But when you come to like Boston, you come to New York, like in the East, sports are so important. And especially with like the 98.5 people, like fellow grandmasters of the world, they just look to berate the team like a former WTP employee that I won't name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He or she, but it's probably he, would always just look for ways to just demean this team. And I was like, dude, you are just so frustrating. So people just don't appreciate how good players are while they're here until they leave. And honestly, most people who left the Celtics did become busts. You look at the Jay Crowders, the Jonas Dragbos, Kelly Olynyk's, Avery Bradley's of the world. I don't know. I think Rozier is staying for the season, and I just think this is like another Boston rumor just being exploded.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's with the playing time, like Brad Stevens is still figuring out like who to play, like different lineups to use and stuff like that. And we mentioned this last week. It could be a sinking ship. I don't care. I want Terry Rozier to come back. I want to give him the money because he is a special player. Danny Ainge has not traded him up until this point for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, he's coveted him since he got drafted 16th overall. Everyone was like, what the hell is this guy doing taking him this early? Danny Ainge saw something in him, and we're seeing it right now. He's a special player. He can start on a bunch of teams. And like you said, having a player like that coming off the bench is very rare nowadays. And you need someone like that to win or contend for a championship. And I think I'm like I said, I'm ride or die with this guy. I think this is going to get swept under the rug. I think we're going to bring him back for the next few years, give him his money. Whatever we got to figure out later on, we'll figure out later on. Again, so luxury tax, that's what you got to do to win. But with the minutes, like I said, Brad Stevens is experimenting, but that's an easy fix. Like if he wants like 5-10 more minutes, I think you can do that. For someone like
injuries will come up. Kyrie will take a rest day.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart will take a rest day. Like
it's not another thing too with keeping Terry Rozier. I think it's very important to keep him because we know the injury history that Kyrie has and how severe it could be because he missed the playoffs last year, and that's when you have guys like Terry Rozier.
That's when he shined. Like
exactly. I'd much rather have Terry Rozier as our starting point guard if Kyrie gets hurt than Marcus Smart. As much as I love Marcus Smart, I love Marcus Smart, but I'd be much more confident with Terry Rozier starting instead of him.
Like you just said, when we took him with the 16th pick, I pulled up the 2015 draft. Like people are still upset that we took him 16. We're like, oh, he's a wasted pick. Like he's just another guard in your guard heavy offense.
There was that guy that had like an F rating.
Yeah,
when he got it.
The most notable players drafted after Terry Rozier. I mean, you got Jerian Grant, Bobby Portis, Rodney Hollis Jefferson, in no order, but Larry Nance Jr., Hernan Gomez, and I think that's literally it. And I'd take Terry Rozier. Yeah, that's it. I'd take Terry Rozier out of all of them.
Exactly.
I mean, he's the best player of the pool, and we took him. So I don't know.
I remember at the time,
about that.
RJ Hunter. I bought his jersey. I love that man. But he was supposed to go like where Terry Rozier went, and then it was supposed to be Terry Rozier where RJ Hunter went, which was 20.
His March Madness shot.
So
his stocks to the roof.
So basically, like it was supposed to be swapped. So when we took Rozier, everyone was. I remember I was with my buddy during draft night. He ran out of the house. He was so pissed that we got him, and I was like, I don't really know much about this kid. Like I'm not gonna like.
Not a huge Louisville basketball dude.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm pissed that we took him. Like it was one of those things. Where it's like, all right, we'll see how he is, and we are finally seeing what Danny Ainge saw in him. And that's why I want to keep him. That's why I think he's going to stay. I don't think, like, with a trade return, he's making $3 to $4 million. You can't really trade that, like, for a good player in the NBA unless it's another player on a rookie contract. Like, you could probably just get picks from that. And unless it's, like, an unprotected pick from Phoenix or, like, a top 3 protected or something crazy like that, I don't think Danny Ainge is going to make that move.
Yeah. Before we hop off the Celtics, last news about them really in the week is Kyrie threw the 48-point game ball into the balconies after the game. I didn't really hate the move by Jamal Murray shooting it. I'm like, why not go for 50? Like, you're playing literally the most dominant. Like, that was a better scoring performance than I think Devin Booker's 70 was. Like the dude just couldn't miss.
The shots he was hitting, I think he had 23, 25 points in the
Yeah,
first
it wasn't
quarter.
like wide open jump shots. He was finishing over Al Horford, Jaylen Brown. It was just crazy. Like Marcus Smart, top 3 ball handle on ball defender in the league, and he's not 3. He was like locking him up, and then he just hit this crazy shot. It was so frustrating as a Celtics fan to watch because I'm like, there's nothing else they can do. But it was also more like, as a basketball fan, I'm like, this is absolutely absurd. I don't also hate that Kyrie threw the ball. Like, I get you're a competitor and everything, but don't let, like he's saying, oh, like there's a terrible move, it's a shady move after the game. I'm like, who cares? Don't let this dude hang 48 in your head then. Like, come on.
No, yeah, it's one of those things that I had when he got the ball. I was like, you know what?
I knew he was going to shoot.
At this point, like it's not like we were only down like a few points. Like we were down 8. The game was over. So
yeah, it also wasn't like we were down 20 either. It was like you're not rubbing it.
It was like at a good happy medium place. And I was like, okay, if I was him, honestly, I think anyone
I would have drove. I wouldn't even have set up for the
I think someone would have went for the 50. But with Kyrie doing what he did, I loved it. Honestly, like you have the reason he says like it was disrespectful, blah blah blah. It's not that I love the comments he made. I love the act of him doing it because this is on par.
Like Chris Sale yelling at the Red Sox in the bullpen.
This is on par with him saying "suck my dick" to that.
Yeah. We're about to win 20 games.
What I see from this is not only he was frustrated with what Jamal Murray did. That's what sparked it. But he really is frustrated with like how the game went, and basically how the season's been going. Because he said like they gotta execute better, they gotta do this and that. There's obviously some frustrations with what's going on right now, and I think him showing that emotion. I mean, maybe he could have shown it a different way, not throwing the ball to the stands, potentially. Like,
I would have punted it.
Someone said, like, imagine if you hit a baby or something like that. Like, yeah, like you put other people at risk by doing that. But, like, the act of him doing that, I think, shows that he is pissed, but in a way that I'm looking forward to the next game. Yeah. Like, I really am.
They play in, like, March, though. That's, like, a long, long time. March or December? Which one? I think it's March.
I think it's March. I don't think we play them for a little while. But they come to Boston anyway. So
Jamal Murray is gonna. I don't think he's like a hated player. I don't even think Boston fans hate him, but he's about to get the most booze he's ever gotten in his entire life.
It's funny because we were talking about that. Like as a basketball fan, like it's amazing seeing a performance like that. And he was hitting insane shots. So was Kyrie that game. Like not gonna discredit him. He was on fire. But Jamal Murray, like the Denver Nuggets are my second favorite team in the NBA. Like I love that team. I love the players on that team. Jamal Murray he's a stud. He can score as we saw. But I really hope what Kyrie did is like equivalent to the suck my dick thing because we went a 16-game winning streak after that, and I'm hoping that sparked everyone and it's like, okay, guys, we really need to figure this stuff out and we have to get going.
Yeah,
and like it's 10 games in, like we mentioned before. Like there's so many things that you got to work on, and just Gordon Hayward has to get back there. Like they'll be fine. There's no need to worry.
Especially that they have the Suns, which I'm hoping is a win.
I'm hoping too. Yes.
I'm not going to hit the panic button until Christmas. Oh, that's what I meant to ask you too. Gordon Hayward not playing that great. Like we said, he's rehabbing. When are you gonna like hit the panic button if he continues this?
I honestly, I think the right time to hit the panic button is Christmas time for anything, really, because that's not like
what is that? People say Thanksgiving.
How many games is that in? Like 30-something games?
Actually,
or not even. How many games? It's not halfway through the season because halfway is around February.
No, that's like 3/4 of the way. That's what they were talking about.
Oh yeah, that's true with the All-Star break. So maybe it is like. Maybe it's around like a little before 40 games. I think that's when you start to panic and just be like, okay, like this team hasn't figured their stuff out yet. Like it's getting kind of close to the point where teams are going to start like getting closer in the rankings, or where you start separating yourself and like you want to be in a certain position, like win a certain amount of games to be a certain seed. I'm not concerned with Gordon Hayward. Like it was expected for him to be like this. Like he's coming off of literally one of the worst injuries we have ever witnessed in basketball.
Yeah, it goes like Kevin Ware, Paul George, Gordon Hayward.
Like it was just so brutal of how it was, and like you have to understand, like as a fan of basketball or just a fan of Celtics, just anyone, like that's not just something you come back from.
Yeah, I would never even pretend to try to walk again.
Like physically is 100%, but mentally too. Like you don't tell me he's never seen the video of it happening, but you can't tell me in the back of his mind he's thinking like if I take like a wrong step, or he caught an alley-oop against the Pacers, like, and he landed on his foot. Like,
I winced. I'm like, ugh.
You have to think like it could happen again. Like, it happened once, it could happen again. Like, it's a scary thought, but like we said, it'll work itself out. Brad Stevens is one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in basketball. Like, everyone's just figuring it out right now. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. No need to worry.
Yeah. All right. If you are a fan of any other team with the Celtics, you got through that.
Yeah. Now we're gonna. Here we go. Now we're gonna get into the other stuff.
So, college basketball tipped off last night. We record Wednesdays, so yesterday was Tuesday. Kicked off with Michigan State versus Kansas. I caught the end of that game because I was really just interested in Kentucky Duke. Close game, I guess, but I didn't really watch any of it other than the last 2 minutes. But the Kentucky Duke game took Twitter by a storm yesterday. Zion, it's terrifying when your second best player in your team is Zion Williamson.
That's yes, because he's the one everyone talks about, because he has all the highlights and stuff. Yeah. But realistically,
RJ Barrett is one of the best college basketball players I've seen in a very long time. Yes, the smallest sample size with one game, but this dude dropped 33 points on the second best team in the nation, and it's Kentucky too. Like,
him and Zion Williamson both broke the record. Well, RJ Barrett broke the record for most points scored in the first game for Duke, but Zion Williamson came in second. Like, RJ Barrett is, Stephen A. Smith said it, he is the truth. This guy can score the ball. Like, he is.
I have no idea. Like, I saw this hypothetical too on Twitter. It was like, what NBA comp do you have with him? I have zero clue. Like, I don't know. He's really a lefty, which is a whole nother aspect to the game. I've saw some people say like lefty Grant Hill. I'm like, I didn't grow up watching Grant Hill. Like, I was just too young. So in today's modern era, like, I really don't know if we've seen anything.
It's a hard comparison. Like, he's just like, he's the best player on that Duke team. He can score. He's the guy that will probably go number one in the most drafts because of how easily he can score. And like, those players are not very hard to come by, but like, having a player like that, like, you can.
He's kind of, honestly, this is what I'm just thinking. Ben Simmons, but he can shoot the ball. Like, he does all the playmaking that Ben Simmons does. I'd say Simmons
he had 6 assists. He had 6 assists last night too. Like, he was dishing out the ball. Like, he was doing a little bit of everything. Like, it's not that he can just score. Like, obviously that's his game, but he can do a lot of other things too. And then Zion Williamson, boy, this guy is literally like, there's no, like, the second coming of LeBron. Like, that is the best comparison right now, I think. Like,
at first I thought the LeBron comparison was lazy just because like they're the same build, but then I was like, LeBron was so skinny in high school.
Zion Williamson's 285.
He's the biggest kid. Like, if he was in the NBA right now, he would only be smaller than Boban, like, mass wise.
I'm pretty sure he'd be one of the most. I think he'd be the most athletic player in the NBA if he was in the league right now.
It's
besides Russell Westbrook, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, this guy,
he's a special creature. Like, I don't even know. And
if things go to plan and the Kings start losing games, we can either get RJ Barrett or Zion Williamson on the Celtics.
Kings got to start
losing. That pick I can see being traded for Anthony Davis, but if we keep the pick and we draft either of the two, then
that's special.
Danny Ainge goes to the Hall of Fame right now. Like,
as Zion Williamson, 28 points, 23 minutes. RJ Barrett, 33 points, 32 minutes. It's like, both those guys just have so much potential. Like,
and Cam Reddish
too. Yeah, not to discredit Cam Reddish.
Trey Jones didn't even play well. He had 6 points, and they still won by like 20. Those 4 people outscored like Kentucky. I think it was 88 to 84. Just 4 of them.
And Kentucky had the
absurd.
Second recruiting class that year behind Duke.
Yeah.
And just we saw last night how dominating of a win that was. They're 1-2, and there's no, like, they are not even close.
Who is 3? Nova?
I think Villanova. Usually Villanova or
Kansas.
Kansas maybe too.
Yeah, I know one's Kansas. I think 3 is Nova. But I don't know, like, it should, like, there shouldn't even be a 1 with Duke. They should just be like 0, and everyone else is like
They just got so
substantially
much.
worse than this
They
team.
just have so much talent on that team. Stephen, they said on First Take, like, it's only one game, obviously, but just seeing how they handled Kentucky, who was the second-ranked team, who was ranked number 2 in the country, like we have potential to see a team go undefeated and win a national championship. I don't know. I'm not the biggest college basketball fan. I don't know if that's happened before. I think it's happened before, but
Probably
long time ago.
100 times.
Long time ago.
I know like the Anthony Davis Kentucky team lost once to Indiana, and then they just ran the table the rest of the way. But
it's like if this team like stays driven and they stay focused, like we could see something special.
Yeah, I don't watch college basketball to watch like a team. Like I never really had a college basketball team. I guess you could say like I go to Penn State, so I have a college football team now. But I was never huge into college sports. Like, I just didn't have like. There's no real great
no,
college
I get you.
team in Boston. Like BC's mediocre,
BC, but yeah,
BU
exactly.
mediocre, UMass like. But I just watch like I'm absolutely gonna catch any Duke game I can just to see these two.
That's the thing too. It's like in the regular season with college basketball, unless you're a diehard fan for that team, you're probably not going to watch basketball. But people are going to start watching Duke because of the noise that they're making. And then once the tournament comes, it's one and done. Like people are going to watch it to see if they can get upset. And it's like
they get upset. No,
that's the thing too. Like I think people would go crazy, but Duke is just they're making so much noise, and I feel like so many people are actually going to start watching college basketball now just because of them.
Yeah, it's their season to lose.
Exactly.
Going back to the NBA, the All-Star draft is now going to be televised, which I don't know why they didn't do last year. Maybe because they switched up the format. They just want to see how it went. But I don't know. I think this is kind of cool. It was just going to be kind of funny to see who's picked last. But
no, it'll be good for ratings for the NBA. Like you said, like they didn't do it last year.
They televised the NBA draft lottery. So if you think like this isn't going to get anyone watching, like I'll sit down for 30 minutes and just see who gets drafted.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think a lot of people will view that, especially I don't know who the captains will be. Obviously, no one knows who the captains will be. But that'll be fun to watch. Like they talked about it last year, like all the players were talking about it and how it went, and everyone was like, "Oh, I wish we got to see it," or like what they went.
Someone had a camera.
Yeah, it's like no one had a camera that whole time. But no, it'll be fun to watch and see like the reactions. Like I would have loved to see the reaction when LeBron picked Kyrie to be on his team, especially after everything that happened after Kyrie got traded. Yeah,
I through that the whole time. Like,
exactly. So just it'll be cool seeing stuff like that. But no, I'm happy they're doing it, and obviously the NBA is going to make money off of it because of ratings. So it's a good business decision.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to mention on there. Luke Walton already on the hot seat. I don't think. Wait, what are the Lakers' record? They're not doing terrible.
I think
they have lost games bad.
They might be 4-6. I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up right now. Last time I checked, they were 4-6. I don't know if they're playing tonight. Let me see.
Lakers record.
They're 11th in the Western Conference. I see that, and they are.
Oh, I clicked the wrong season.
1-4, 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, 3-6, 4. Yeah, they're 4-6.
All right, I thought they were like 6-4. I'm like, how is Luke Walton on the hot seat for having the same record as the Celtics? But
no, you see, this is what I don't understand with all
the
that.
LeBron James effect is real.
That's what it is. It's like
I hate LeBron James.
For that one reason, you know that was because of LeBron James. Like you're the Lakers, you're 4-6. You're like. We've said like everyone's saying they'll probably make the playoffs. They won't make much noise, but they'll probably make the playoffs as a low end seed. But like they're not supposed to be good. Like I don't know why.
Magic Johnson is delusional.
Luke Walton is a great coach. He filled in for Steve Kerr when he had that injury with Golden State, and he took them like 40 wins and
granted
digit loss. Granted it's Golden State, but like. Luke Walton is like a smart guy. Like he's been around basketball his whole life. He's won championships. Like he knows how to coach. And just them saying that he's on the hot seat after losing the team's first 6 games of the first 10 seasons, like the first 10 games, like come on. Like and that
then Magic Johnson said, "Oh, like we're not going to fire him unless something drastic happens." And then that night they go down 42-10 in the first quarter. I'm like, Uh, Fantastic.
Yeah, he's on the hot
When,
seat now for sure.
like I just mentioned, LeBron James effect is real. Like I think he's obviously doesn't really care this year at all. Like he's like, oh, this is not a title team. Like, how are you gonna get free agents to come to LA if he was like, oh, we have LeBron? He's like, you mean the LeBron team that went 41-41? Like, no thanks. You see all these guys who are like, oh, I'm going to LA, and then don't like Paul George, for example, maybe even Kawhi Leonard, for example. The Chris Paul said he wanted to go to LA, and that technically happened, but Stern shut that down. But I don't know. I think people was always like, oh, it's gonna be a lock for this person to go to LA. I think I've seen every single person in the entire NBA photoshopped with the Lakers jersey.
Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, like everyone
Anthony
is going.
Davis is not
Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, like everyone's going to LA next year. No, it's like I think if you fire your head coach this quickly into the season, that's just a bad look on your organization as a whole.
Who are you gonna replace him with?
Like that too, Ty Lue. No,
honestly, maybe I hate Ty Lue because I don't think he's a good coach, and I think that 0-7 record showed it or whatever. But the best part about Ty Lue, who's with LeBron for what 3.5 years,
yeah,
he lets LeBron do his thing. Like the best thing about Ty Lue is like he allows LeBron to walk over him, which is not great, but no other coach. And like he had David Blatt fired, he had Larry Brown fired, he had Lou Walton maybe fired coming up. Spoelstra, only good coach that LeBron's really played for, but to say he's a Hall of Fame coach is more than a stretch.
Yeah, no, I just think it's just a bad look on the organization. Like if you fire your head coach this quickly into the season, like what does that say for free agents next year? Like, oh, we want to play for a team that LeBron is basically just he's making all these decisions again, like he did in Cleveland. Like it's supposed to be different now.
Whose birthday party did he go to after that Raptors game?
Did he?
Yeah,
he went to. They lost. That's why he went to LA, man. He went to LA to enjoy.
I respect the move. Just mail it in, but if you're gonna like decide you're gonna mail it in, you can't make it all.
And then shots. He was like, when they lost, I wasn't to the Raptors. It was to the Timberwolves, I think. He was like, "You guys don't want to be around me when my patience is."
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Subtweet your people? Like get over yourself.
Like, come on. Like, you cannot tell me you expected your team to be like incredible. Like
the average age of the Lakers is like
that. Like, I'm not
13.
saying the players around him aren't good. They're just so young. He can't expect them to be on par with how he plays and just like on the same level. Like, none of those guys are all-star players. Like, you could make the argument maybe Brandon Ingram might make that jump, but like there's no one on that team right now that's an all-star. And it's like you have to understand that. And you can't fire your coach because he's not leading a LeBron-led just because it's a LeBron-led team. There's no one else on that team that could really help him and make them a great team. And I don't know why you don't fire your coach because of that. That's just stupid. That's just
going back to LeBron's old team. We forgot to mention this before the show. J.R. Smith said he wanted to trade, get a short, whatever. And more importantly, Colin Sexton, not liked by his teammates.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't know how to play basketball.
Which is ridiculous because he was the 9th pick. I'm not going to call him a bust. We are 10 games into the season. Yeah. He's playing in Cleveland surrounded by those terrible, terrible players.
I just think Cleveland's a dumpster fire right now. Yeah. I just think no one wants to be there. Like, after LeBron left, like Tristan Thompson said, like, oh, you can't count us out. Like, we've been to the finals back to back years, something like that. It's like, bro, like you're not gonna.
Like I get you have to say that because you're like,
you're not gonna not say that, but like, you know, like everyone had to have expected this team to take a mate. It's like when LeBron left the first time around, like they got the first pick like 2 times, like they were trash every year until he came back. Like that's what's going to happen, and it's going to keep happening until I don't know. I really don't.
Cleveland's done for a long time.
Cleveland's going to be irrelevant for a long time. Like they have Colin Sexton, they have Kevin Love. Kevin Love's hurt. Colin Sexton has some bright spots for that team, and then they get another top pick.
Nobody wants to see it.
No, I know. That's why when they said he doesn't know how to play basketball, I didn't really understand that. I was like, well, first of all, he's not really even playing that much. He's still just coming off the bench. So I feel like he hasn't got enough time to prove himself, really. And like we said, he's playing in Cleveland. Like, there's just a lot of question marks around that team. J.R. Smith just straight up said, "I wanted to get traded." Like that just shows the position they're in right now. It's not good.
Yeah, he's gonna go to LA and like.
Oh my god, imagine.
Kyle Lowry, Steve Nash. You said you had a comparison for them, so let's hear it.
Yeah, so I found this tweet. So this is Kyle Lowry's stats so far this season: 18 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 11.6 assists, 23.8 PER, and a 62.7, I think, turnover share, TS percentage. Steve Nash during his MVP season: 18.8 points, just 0.8 points higher, 4.2 rebounds, about the same amount, 10.5 assists, which is over assist less, a 23.3 PER, and a 63.2 TS percentage. Almost identical stats. Kyle Lowry, the Raptors team is so far, like even without
very
Kawhi,
underrated.
even without Kawhi, they are playing. They're 3-1 without Kawhi this season. Their offense scores the same amount of points even when Kawhi Leonard isn't there, and they have Kawhi when he's healthy. When Kawhi is playing, like they're that much better. That team is ridiculous. Kyle Lowry is having a great year for them with assists. Like he has Danny Green next to him now. He's got OG, Siakam, Serge Ibaka, Jonas Valanciunas is coming off the bench now.
Van Fleet.
Van Vliet off the bench, like that. Norman Powell, but he's out for a couple weeks with an injury. But that team, like that's the only team I'm really against the Celtics. That's the only team I'm really scared for right now, and I think that they have a very good chance of also being a finals team against the Warriors. Like if it's not us, it's the Raptors, and I think they'd put up a good shot against the Warriors too.
Yeah, for sure.
I just thought that stat was crazy. I had to share that.
Yeah, like
I know
obviously not going to win MVP.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Not because he's not playing like one. Like I think Kyle Lowry is like very, very underrated. I personally like am not the biggest fan of him for really no reason. Like he never did anything. I just don't really like him. But there's just so many better players in the NBA nowadays, and
yeah, I think that stat just also shows like how far the league has come in the past 10 years or so. Yeah, like as far as scoring goes, especially like you would never see a guy like Lowry scoring 18 points and winning MVP. Like if you're going to win MVP, like you're averaging at least 25, 26 points a game. Like no less than that, I don't think. I mean, Steph had 23 a couple years ago and won it, but that was when the Warriors were the best team in the NBA. Like that also helps out. But scoring 18 points, like 18.8 points and 10 rebounds and 10 assists, winning MVP, like it just puts into perspective how much the NBA has changed, and it's crazy.
So last few topics, we got De'Aaron Fox off to an unbelievable start. I was high on Fox last year. Kings just didn't really utilize him last year as a rookie. He was also playing through his rookie season, hit a rookie ball, whatever. Also a very, very hot start. He just recorded a 30-15-10 triple-double. And so far this season, he's getting 18.6 points per game, steal and a half per game, and 7.6 assists, 4.7 rebounds, and he's shooting 50%, which is very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm high on Fox. I think he was, the sixth pick, I want to say. And perhaps my favorite storyline is Lonzo Ball still has yet to play De'Aaron Fox since he dropped 40 on his head in Kentucky in the March Madness. Still has yet to play him, which is wild to me because they played in Summer League a few times, preseason, and all the regular season games.
I think De'Aaron Fox and that Kings team, like that team is so young, and I think they're off to their hot start as a team.
They're good all collectively.
They will eventually. Like they haven't had that great that hard of a schedule to start off the season, but like that team is so young, they're so fast, they're just running gun, and their youth is really the reason why they're able to do that. And I feel like this year, like the Celtics have the Kings pick, so obviously I don't want the Kings to do that well. But the Kings aren't as good as they like they have a good record right now, but that's not going to keep up. Like they're not going to be have a positive record all year round. They're slowly going to start to lose games to these good teams that they eventually start to play. But I feel like these games that they're winning is a great confidence boost for these guys since they're so young and just kind of getting their feet wet and just like being able to be like, yeah, like we can win these games. Like in a couple of years, they're a college basketball team. That's how I look at them. Like they're just so young. In a couple of years, they can be very good if they stick around and everyone stays healthy and reaches their potential. Like De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley. Willie Cauley-Stein's playing great this year. Bogdanovich, he's
Harry Giles.
He's very Harry Giles. He was the #1 recruit in high school. Like if
he has one of the best high school mixtapes I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like if he comes back and he's healthy and he actually produces and plays very well, like that's a very promising team. Another promising team. But they're off to a hot start. I can't see it lasting too long. But it's cool seeing a team like the Kings have a little early success so far.
And to wrap up the show, we're going to kind of talk about at least the unveiled city jerseys. You can follow along on our Twitter if you actually want to see these. I'm going to try to make a video to summarize this whole segment. We'll start off with the Suns. They kind of went back to their retros, the Los Suns. I think this is the only team that like makes sense when they do that. Like Mexico crossover. Is it Mexico? No, Latin America. Didn't want to get that wrong. It's 2018 and people are terrible. But the Latin America crossover. Like the Los Suns, like it doesn't really make sense because you're using half and half, but they're the only team that really clicks with. I guess El Heat was kind of cool too, but I like the jerseys. I wouldn't buy one, but they're kind of just like they're throwbacks. Nothing special really. Orlando Magic didn't even try.
No, that's like their generic jersey. They added a little sprinkle
they
to the side to make it like a galaxy themed, I guess. But it's kind of like their normal.
It literally just looks like they dropped like flour on a black shirt.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Just a size.
We'll keep it there.
Charlotte Hornets.
Also kind of
great. Yeah,
it has Buzz City on it, but
the Wizards one, like it's just black on black. With the stripe on the side.
Yeah, the ones that we're mentioning right now, we're saying they're garbage, but just wait.
I've been going down.
We're getting into them.
76ers also terrible. It looks like it got wrapped in duct tape and then just threw like stars on it. Like this has the exact texture duct tape does.
Yeah, it reminds me of those Celtics jerseys that we had
the gray and
the gray ones. Yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of in a Philly way. I didn't like those that much either.
I hated all the sleeve jerseys in general.
Yeah, no, I'm glad those aren't around anymore.
Perhaps the worst ones are the Pistons.
That's just
black jersey, 2 stripes.
2 stripes down the middle. Like
I get why the whole Motor City thing. It's supposed to be like the center of a road, but they stink out loud.
Yeah, it's not a good design. Here now we're gonna start.
Finally, a good one. We got the Chicago Bulls.
Yes,
that's a nice jersey
with the 4 stars, the 2
Chicago flag. Yeah,
it looks those look sick. Those look sick. And then the Bucks are the next one where it's like
the Mecca court.
It's like the red, the yellow, the orange.
It was like remember it was the same. Not you, just anyone listening. It was a court that the Celtics played against them on the open the season last year.
That throwback court they had.
It's just that on a jersey now. Mm-hmm. I also hate that they're sponsored by like Harley Davidson because that jersey, like you can't incorporate that logo into a jersey at all.
Yeah,
that sticks out so much.
The way that the Bucks, the name is going down, it's so close to the logo.
Yeah, the Harley Davidson Bucks.
Yeah, it kind of runs into each other. That's the only thing I really don't like, but I do. It's a very cool design. It's very different.
My favorite ones, the Nuggets ones, those are nice. Like
the rainbow,
the throwback rainbow ones, but they also kind of spun it into a more modern look. I don't know. I like those a lot.
I love those too. And then Timberwolves with the purple rain inspired, the pink outline, and then the dark purple. Yeah. So sick. I think that's like just like finding a creative way of making it like that theme.
This is when jersey creators can like have fun with it.
Yeah, and I'm happy that they could do this because Prince was from Minnesota, so it kind of it's sick how they were able to do that for him.
OKC, I don't like those at all. It's kind of like a Native American tribe.
I feel like yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of fits.
Like at least they tried to do something different.
I don't know, like the color. I don't know if I'm a fan of the turquoise, honestly.
Remember those alternates they used to have? It was like when they were first a new team, the navy blue ones with a white stripe. This is Thunder.
I want to say I know what you're talking about. But
not great. They're like they've progressed since then. They were literally just like navy on navy, and then I didn't like those orange ones they had last year, or was that 2 years ago or something? I didn't like those at all.
My roommate actually has the OKC that orange jersey of Russ hanging up on the wall. I'm looking at it right now.
and then the one they had last year, the gray with the stripes, with, like the frosted flake stripes. I'm like,
yeah, I don't know.
I really like
OKC doesn't really have the best jerseys, I don't think. Sorry, any OKC fans, but like, I don't know. They're either very generic or like, I don't know.
Brooklyn Nets. I like the Biggie shout out with the trim.
The trim
very,
is sick.
very well could have messed this up by putting like the whole jersey like this, but I love how they just did the trim.
That's the thing too with Brooklyn. Like with the teams we first mentioned, like it was just very generic. Like
this is still generic, but it has that
very generic. But that trim really sticks out, and it makes me a fan of it.
And the overall favorite, according to Twitter, is the new Miami Vice jerseys. I like them. They even got a new court to go with the jerseys. So that's pretty cool. Like they're going full in. Sell as many jerseys as you want. Like
on Friday, they're playing them for the first time.
Oh yeah. Who are they playing that day? Do you know?
I'm not sure where they're playing, but they're wearing those jerseys 14 times this year. So I'm sure
I'd wear them 82 times.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, like they say that's the consensus best one. Everyone kind of agree that those were the best jerseys.
Yeah, they just flipped the colorway from last year. Last year was white.
They stand out. It's a Miami themed jersey, so I like it.
I'm not sure if the Celtics ones were confirmed, but like that Kyrie jersey got leaked. I don't like those.
Those are also generic. Like there is anything special about it. My favorite part was the gold trim along the side. But it looked like the LeBron high school.
Yeah, jersey. I was literally just about to say that.
That's what it looked like.
They look identical to the St. Mary's high school jersey that LeBron wore.
But we'll see when they actually confirm those. But it looked like a legit picture. But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if any other jerseys really came out. Not that I can think of off the top.
I was looking through Twitter.
Oh, the Lakers have those purple ones with the pinstripes. Those are terrible.
Sacramento had it's like they had these jerseys before. It was like on the top, it's just white, and then down below where it says Sacktown, and then it's just a bit like light blue. Also very generic.
Has anybody ever called Sacramento Sacktown?
I don't. Maybe if you're from Sacramento. From Sacramento.
I mean, people call Boston Beantown, but I've never heard the term Sacktown. Maybe they're trying to start something, but who knows?
And then the Clippers had one too. It looked. We talked about this before. It looks like it reminds me of like a race car NASCAR type of theme. It's like the LA is like.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's very. It's hard to describe, but I don't know if I like those.
Not great either.
Not every team has shown
a lot of misses. I'll say that there's a lot of misses.
There's a lot of potential with these city jerseys, like the overall theme of it. Some teams hit it right on the nose, and some teams were like, "Screw it, we're just gonna keep it the way it is." Like
the best like PR thing they could do is tweet out like, "Hey, someone make a cool jersey, and maybe you'll win it." And they'll wear the jerseys. You will see so many like creative minds go to work. Like people who are just good at graphic design could just knock that out of the park. But I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen? But yeah, I don't really have anything else to mention. It's kind of not a slow week in the NBA. Just not a lot of big stories.
Yeah, we covered all the big stories. Really, I mean we talked everything about the Celtics and all that stuff. If you wanted to talk really quick, we can go over like who we think should win every award right now, or the award winners. Just really quick briefing.
We could probably do that next week. This episode's running long,
yeah.
So we'll do that next week. Have another week of basketball before we set our picks. This episode is brought to you by We the People Sports. Like every week, go check them out at WTP Sports on Twitter. Check out our website at, I think it's just WTP Sports, or just type in We the People Sports. That'll come up. A lot of good articles there, a lot of good writers. We have some video content coming out. We're on to some big things over there. Check out our shows at Benchwarmers Radio. And you can check out me at Ty_Miller35, Dante at Dante on Deck. I know that you do those kind of 2-minute videos after the Celtics games that people start to like. So definitely check those out if you're a Celtics fan.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, everyone's actually been liking those. I just kind of did it as like an experiment.
Yeah,
and, it's just a quick recap after every game, and people seem to enjoy it. So check that out at Dante on Deck, and check out Tyler at Ty_Miller35, and we'll be back next week.
Yep. Tell your friends, anyone's with ears. I don't really care, but hey. Oh, also, I know people I've been seeing tweeted a lot. at us or just like under your comments. Yes, we're on Apple Podcasts. Just type in Benchwarmers Radio. We're the logo with like the blue background and the radio and the shoes. Apple told me that Benchwarmers Radio wasn't a name, so I'm like, all right, cool. And then I guess there's like 3 other shows that have Benchwarmers Radio. I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, with a blue background.
We're on there now.
Yeah, we'll tweet out the links, retweet them, share them, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
We're